Hello everyone, it's week 2 of the holiday preparations prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. And for anybody who wants to follow along with this challenge or any of our others, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below, so please do feel free to come along and join us. Now, the challenge for this week is bags and tags. You can either do bags or tags or do bags and tags. It's entirely up to you. This doesn't have to be Christmas related, so we know that not everybody celebrates Christmas, but it's quite nice for some of us to get ahead of our festive preparations. So please do feel free to adapt this to suit you. If you want to make a bag for a birthday gift, for instance, please feel free to do so. So I'm going to share several ideas for making homemade bags and tags today. I'm going to start off using these two designs, I should say, of paper here. I've got these two here. This one here is double-sided. This paper here measures 5.5 by 5.5 inches, whereas this paper here measures 6 by 6 and is plain on the one side. So I want to show you how you can work with this, depending on whether you've got just one-sided paper or double-sided paper. You could do larger gift bags if you wanted to and use 8 by 8 papers or 12 by 12. I'm just going to use these because they fit nicely underneath the camera. Now, this paper here, for anybody who wants to know, is from the Arts and Crafts. This is Ducros Paper Mania. I love this pack. It's full of the most gorgeous papers. This one here is by a company called Flons, and I wouldn't recommend it. This is the paper that I used for my gift cards last week. I ordered it from, it was either New Zealand or Australia, I can't remember, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It's got a very plasticky feel, and I don't know whether you can pick up that shine, but I am going to use it up nonetheless. I don't have any festive type papers, whereas I think these work really well and are a great way to improvise using papers that you've already got. Now, whatever papers you decide to use, you're going to need 2 sheets of each. That's why I've got 2 here. So let's start off with this one here. I'm going to use my paper scoreboard. This is my Hoogie board. You could use any brand you like. And if you don't have a scoring board, it doesn't matter. You can draw marks with a ruler and just use a knife to make your score line. So, please don't feel that you have to rush out buying new equipment. Now, for this one here, I want to make a fold across the top of my bag. So what I'm going to do to start off with is draw a score here at 1/2 inch. So one there. Don't press too hard either, because you'll tear your paper, and you don't want to press very hard at all. So now I've got a 1/2 inch score line in the same place on both pieces of paper, and that's important. And then on all the other sides, I am going to score at 1 inch. Make sure that I don't end up scoring on the line that I've already scored. So we'll do that there, and then we can do it on the other piece of paper as well. So the other 3 sides. So that's what we've got, and now we can get rid of the scoreboard. What I want to do to start off with is fold over where I've made that 1/2 inch line. So where is it on the other piece of paper? Here it is. And so that's what we've got. So a 1/2 inch fold on both of our pieces of paper. And what I want to do now is glue this down. I'm going to use tacky glue today, and that's just so that you can see what I'm doing. If I use my 3-in-1, because it's clear, you probably won't be able to see it. I'm applying a small amount of glue just to the top of that fold there, like that. Not too much, because otherwise it's just going to splodge out all over the place. And then I'm just going to glue that top fold down like that, and then I'm going to have to set that aside for a second or two just for the glue to grab. So we'll do exactly the same. Whoops daisy, the glue's going flying all over the place. We'll do exactly the same on this one here as well, just making sure that we've got it going all the way to the edge. There we go, and we'll just, as I say, wait for a second or two for that glue to grab. And now I want to use my scissors. On one of the sheets, I'm going to cut along the fold there, like that. So let me just, this is probably really difficult for you to see. It's difficult for me to see as well, but if you hold it to the light, you can just about see it. Can you see those fold marks if I tilt it that way? So just going to the other edge of the fold, like that. So that's on one of the sheets, and then on the second sheet what I want to do is cut just slightly, very, very slightly to the side of that line there, and again the same here, just cutting myself sort of a slight triangle. You'll be able to see, so the fold is there, and I've just gone slightly to either side of it, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this piece here as well. Only a fraction, that's all you need to do. There we go. So we've got one sheet of paper where we've removed the corners, and one where we've just cut the corners at the top like that. And then what you want to do is decide which side you want as your front. I want this pattern showing on my bag, and I'm just going to fold it like this. Use my bone folder, fold all of the sides, including the little square here. Use my bone folder, do the same on the other side, and here as well. Just fold that square in there, and exactly the same on this one here as well. There we are. So that's what we've got now. I'm going to take the piece of paper with the side slits, and I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of glue just to the corners here, like this. Again, not too much. You don't want it squirting out all over the place. There we go. Can you see where that glue is applied? And I'm just going to glue that down like that, and this is just forming the basis of my bag, and I just want to hold that down again, and just make sure that that glue grabs nicely before I put the rest of it together. I'm just going to put the two parts together next. My glue's had a few seconds to grab, and so now I can work on this part here, and what I want to do is glue the two parts together. So again, I'm just going to add some glue just along this bottom flap here, like this. Again, just making sure that I've got a bit on the edges as well, a bit in the middle like this. You don't need a whole huge amount of glue, just enough to keep it stuck down, and I'm going to glue that in there like that and burnish that down with my bone folder. And then all I need to do then is just wrap these round as well, and that is my beautiful, pretty little bag. So again, what I can do now is just apply some glue to these sides here. So make sure we've got glue on that side there, turn it around and do the same on the other side. And then I'm just going to glue those to the side of my box, all nice and neat. And again, just use a clip just to, you could use a clothes peg for this, just to make sure that that glue is going to grab. The edges on my bag are now dry. I'm really happy with that. It's such a pretty little shape, and all I'm going to do now is just find the centre line here, and oh, I'm a bit off there. Start again. So find the centre, just push your finger in. Let's try and get it more even on this side here. Here we go, like this. And then just make a bit of a crease, go down as far as you want to. We'll do the same on this side here. Here we go, fold that in, and again, just make a crease down the bag like that. And it just gives the bag a really nice shape. Now, of course, you could take this one stage further if you wanted to, and you could add some pretty trim across the top and the back if you wanted to. In fact, I would do that before you added your crease, and maybe start off here where you can't see the join, or just leave it at that. Entirely up to you, but I just think that makes the most pretty little bag. And as another finishing touch, I'm going to squeeze my bag together. I'm going to find my center point, which I know is right here. I'm going to punch through both sides at the same time. So that is my centre. I'm using the larger hole on my crocodile. Oops, try not to punch my finger at the same time. Then I'm going to apply some little eyelets. Of course, you could leave it at that if you wanted to. I think it looks nice with the eyelets. So I'm just going to squeeze that down. And I'll do exactly the same on the other side. As a finishing touch, we can just add a piece of contrasting ribbon through the bag like this and just tie it in a knot. I don't think I've got enough of this to tie a bow, but we can just use that little piece there, and I think that just finishes our bag off really nicely. Isn't that sweet? Now, as far as making a bag with the papers that are white on the other side, I've made my score lines in exactly the same way, so 1/2 inch and then 1 inch on the other sides. This time I'm going to fold the tab at the top onto the inside, and then I'm going to fold my bag and glue it together in exactly the same way, and as soon as I've done that, I'll be straight back. I've put the bag together and I just wanted to show you the difference between the two. Of course, this one is plain on the inside, but it just gives everything a much more professional finish just by tucking a piece of that paper over onto the inside. And again, I've added my eyelets. So let me just show you the difference. So of course, that one is patterned on the inside and we've rolled that one over to the top. And I've just got a piece of cerise ribbon. You could, of course, add red if you wanted to. I think the cerise will look really nice, and I'm just going to thread that through my bag. Isn't that gorgeous? So easy to make. This one here I used 3-in-1, which dries much quicker, and this must have taken me no more than 2 minutes to put together, including drying time. So 2 very sweet little homemade gift bags, ideal for adding a piece of homemade jewellery or a homemade decoration to give away to your friends. Now for my second gift bag idea, I'm going to be using some rolls of gift wrap. So this is Christmas themed gift wrap. We've got 2 that are on craft cardstock. We've got this gorgeous one here, which is embossed. It's just beautiful. This one here plain with Christmas trees, and the red and white one. I think this is beautiful. Let me have that the right way round. And so I'm just going to cut myself some sheets. Now I've measured the length of my wrapping paper, and it measures just very slightly over 27 inches. So I can get 3 bags out of the length of this piece of wrapping paper here. And I want a bag that is approximately 6 inches wide. So I am going to cut myself a piece of paper that is approximately 13 to 14 inches like this. Of course, I need to take this to my larger table, so I'm going to cut at around 14 inches. I've now cut a piece of my wrapping paper, and you can see that I've folded it over. This part in the middle here measures 6 inches, and what I'm going to do now is take it off to my paper trimmer and cut it into 3 equal pieces of 9 inches each. So of course now I've got 3 much more manageable pieces of paper. Now I've left myself a bit of excess. I want to glue this and make a seam down the middle to start off my paper bag, but of course it's a bit large. Now that it's more manageable, I can easily trim this on my paper trimmer. Now the middle point is about here, so I've made a mark here and then on the underside here, and I'm just going to trim my paper down slightly, and then we can glue it together. Now that I've trimmed some excess off the sides, we've got a much more manageable seam allowance, and it's just better to cut your piece of paper initially a little bit wider so that you have got just a bit of wiggle room to play with. And of course, once they're cut down into 3 pieces, it is just much more manageable. Now, what I want to do is glue this down, and what I am going to do now, let me just have a think about this. Right, okie dokie. I am going to add some glue to the side here like this, and then I want to add some glue to this edge here as well, and this will just stop it lifting once the bag is shut. So let me just move these out of the way. So now, okay, so now what I'm going to do is just glue that shut like that. Let me just get rid of that that blobby that I've just spotted. There we go. Just get rid of that and just use my bone folder then just to burnish that down. And this means that we're stuck all at this edge, but we're also stuck at the edge on the inside as well. So just make sure that you haven't got any excess glue that's going to glue your paper bag shut inside. Next, we need to glue the bag shut at the bottom. So I'm just going to fold that up there like that. And then I'm going to cut myself a V up to that crease line. Where is it? So we'll just cut a V like this. Turn it over and do the same on the other side. And then on the crease line here, I want to cut this excess paper away. Let me just use two different types of scissors to do this. I'm just going to start it off with my small scissors here, and then I can just use my larger ones now that it's easier to get into it, and just cut that excess away, which would just make it neater. And then bring back my piece of parchment paper and glue the bottom shut as well. And because this paper is so thin, glue stick is quite adequate. You can glue that shut now as well, and just burnish that down. If you've got any pinking shears, you can just cut a zigzag edge at the top of your bag if you want to, or leave it plain entirely, up to you. Just go along here like this. How pretty is that? Really nicely finished off on the back, and that's what it looks like on the front. I wanted to see what the paper bags look like in each of those 3 rolls of wrapping paper, so I've made some more. These ones here, I've kept the top of the bag straight. I love these. This is the embossed wrapping paper. These ones here, I've also used the pinking shears. So I just think these look really cute. And here's the faux part style wrapping paper that I used. Now, let me just explain the seam just a little bit more, because I noticed that I was out of camera shot. Where is it? I can't even see it now. So my seam is glued firmly shut on the inside of the bag as well as the outside. And let me just bring back another piece of paper. This is the craft one. I'll explain why I've got this line here in a second, but I added glue along this seam here and this seam, so on the pattern side of the paper as well as on the back, and that means that when the bag is shut, I've got glue on this inside here which sticks it to the inside, and of course this sticks it to the back and just stops anything catching on the inside of your paper bag. Now, I did another style of bag as well, like this, which is more of a traditional style paper bag, and of course this would give you the option to fold the top of the bag over to close it, and you know, put a little sticker or piece of washi tape or ribbon down if you wanted to. And the way that I made this one was in exactly the same way as the others, but before I glued it, I cut this part of the bag out first. So I've just outlined this in black just so that you can see, and then once you've put the bag together, your front of the bag is nice and straight, but you've got this raised bit at the back. So I hope that's given you some more ideas for homemade bags. And of course, if you don't celebrate Christmas, you can always make homemade gift bags in exactly the same way using other types of patterned papers. These 3 here are made out of wallpaper, a roll that I ordered through the post. This has got a really plasticky feel to it, a shiny feel to it. I was expecting it to be matte. Another eBay purchase, but I absolutely love the pattern of these. These ones are shorter because the roll of wallpaper was 21 inches, whereas the wrapping paper was 27 inches. So these ones here measure 6 by 6.5, but I just think those are really fun as well. Now, another really quick idea is to stamp some shop bought paper bags. These are just plain craft paper bags. I've got a snowflakes stamp here as well, so I'm just going to stamp randomly over my bag like this. We could do with maybe a couple hanging off the edge of the page to make it look a bit more random, like that. I think that will do. And then how about we add some smaller snowflakes as well. Let me just wipe off the ink from around the edge of my stamp. So again, I've got a smaller snowflake stamp here, and I'm just going to fill that in. Doesn't that look cute? Really easy. You could whiz up a batch of these in no time at all. Pigment ink takes a little bit longer to dry, so you just need to set that off to one side. But some more ideas for you. I've just stamped Wishing You a Magical Christmas in red ink and added a few snowflakes. This one here is just Merry Christmas in red ink. So you could stamp these with whatever you like. Let's see if we can make some really simple tags to go with our little gift bags. So these were the first two I made, and I don't know whether you can remember, these were the corner pieces I chopped out from that 6x6 and 5.5 by 5.5 paper. This is all that's left of this. So let's see if we can make a coordinated gift tag. I can only find one of these. I've got a couple of punches here and some craft cardstock, and what I'm going to start off by doing, because this is really flimsy and is really difficult to get into my small 1-inch punch, to stabilize it, I am just going to apply some glue stick over the back like this. This is so quick and easy. So let's apply plenty of glue over the back. There we go, that will do. And I'm just going to stick it down to a piece of craft cardstock. Now these are the leftovers from the cards that I made last week. Of course, I made my cards to size and then just chopped the bottoms off. So I'm going to use the scrap waste that I've got left. And then I am just going to punch out a circle. So let's have a look and see how I want to do this. There we go, that's fine. Then I'm going to cut out just a plain craft circle with a larger 2-inch circle punch, and I'm just using whichever circle punches I have. I've got them in 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2-inch and 2.5 inches. So that's that. Then I want to ink around the edges. So I'm going to use frayed burlap. Let me just turn that over for you. Frayed burlap, my distress ink. So we'll just ink around the edges like this, just to grunge it up a little bit. I'll do exactly the same with the craft cardstock circle as well. You don't have to do this. I just like to. Then I'm going to use my crocodile on the small punch setting. That's the large one that you'd use to set eyelets. I'm going to use the smaller size. And where do I want my first hole to go? I want it to go about here, like that. There we go. And I'm going to punch one in the craft cardstock as well. There we are. I've got a piece of string that I'm going to use to keep my 2 pieces of patterned paper, the patterned paper and the craft cardstock together. I'm using a piece of bent over wire. Let me show you. This is just a piece of bent over wire that I'm using as a needle, because the hole is quite small and I know that I'm going to struggle to get it through. I'm stacking these together like this, and then I'm just going to squeeze the needle ends together, pass it through like that, and it just makes life so much easier. Then I can line these up so that they're both the same size, pass that through the loop, and that's my cute little tag. And of course I've got the craft cardstock on the back where I can write a message to whoever I'm giving the gift to, and the coordinating paper, which just makes it look really pretty. So I can now just attach this to my bag. What I'm going to do, let's see how I can do this. Loosen that slightly. I think this is probably going to be the best way to do it. Pass that under there, maybe. No, leave that there like that. And then I can just tie a knot. So let's just tie a knot there. Fiddle around with my ribbon, tighten it up again. I just think that looks really, really sweet. What do you do if you want to make a tag but you don't have any circle punches? I've just made a couple of coordinating tags here. I've just cut out a basic tag shape and layered. I've done two different styles, one with the patterned paper in the background and craft on top, and one with craft on the bottom and patterned paper on top. This one here I've put some string through. This one has just got the hole. Now what I did with this one here is I aligned it at the top, then punched a hole in the centre, and what I'm going to do with this one here is just use a brad to hold the package together. So I'm just going to splay it out at the back like that. I could of course write my message on the centre here. I think that looks really cute. Or if you don't want to punch a hole in your bag, you could write a message on the back of this one here, and then just hold it in place with a small amount of coordinating washi tape. I've got this washi tape here which I think goes really well, and I could just stick that down to the front of my bag like that. Either way, I think those look adorably cute. So let me just show you my finished bags. Of course, these were the ones that I made out of the Christmas wrapping paper. I love the little tag. I think that's so sweet. This one here, I've just used a stamp to make the little tag. I love how that came out, and attached it with a piece of washi tape. These were the ones that you saw me make. This particular paper I don't think is particularly festive either, so I'd be quite happy to send a birthday gift out in something like this. And then of course the folk art style, I've used white cardstock for this one here just because I thought it was more fitting with the white in the background of the paper. So that's those. These are of course the bags that I used my stamps and stencils on. So this was just stamped with two different sizes of snowflake stamps. This one here I think is really cute, very simple, this one here, and this one was using the stag stencil and just a bit of the pigment ink on the bottom. I think those are really cute as well. These are the simple bags that I made out of wallpaper in exactly the same way as I made these bags here. I just absolutely love the pattern of that wallpaper. It's gorgeous. Finally, of course, there's these bags here that I made out of the 6x6 and 5.5 craft cardstock. I love how these have turned out. I love the shape of them. I love them on the side. I think these are absolutely beautiful, and I think the little tiny tags just complement these really nicely. So just to recap, the prompt for this month is holiday preparations, and the challenge for this week is bags and tags, bags or tags or both, like I've done here. Interpret this in any way you like, and it does not have to be Christmas related, although I know a lot of us are trying to get ahead of our game and into the festive spirit. I don't know about anybody else, but I always leave my festive preparations till the last minute, so I am for once feeling ahead of my game. I really hope that this has given you some ideas as to how you can create simple gift bags and tags using supplies that the majority of us have got available. I mean, most of us have got at least some gift wrap at our fingertips. And of course, you know, if you've got the craft packaging paper as well, you could always make bags like this, stamping in the same method that I did with these. Now, for those of you that are in the festive spirit, I'll leave a link to last week's video as well. These are the cards that I made for last week's holiday preparations challenge. So if anybody hasn't seen it and is interested, I'll leave the link to the video in the description box below. Don't forget to go and check out and see what Kylie has been up to this week as well for the bags and tags challenge, because I'm sure that she has come up with something completely different to what I have. But if you enjoyed this week's video, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Stay safe, everyone. Take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. And just a reminder, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below for anybody who's interested in following along with us. Bye for now.